With Friendship is Magic / Generation 4, basically coming into its last half, if you will, its final half. Its final half / last half / second half of the final season / season 9. One of the lingering questions people have is, what will Gen 5 bring to the table? You see, one of the things about Gen 5 that people kind of have an idea about because of certain information being leaked, maybe certain, drafts, work in progress drafts, stuff like that, images being leaked out as well, is, what are we going to get? It's like, what are we in store for? You see, one of the biggest rumors coming out of this whole Gen 5 situation is it's supposed to be aimed at an older audience. In other words, more like maybe TV-Y7 / TV-PG. TV-Y7 / TV-PG. That's the rumor going around. It's supposed to be aimed at that older audience. And some of the proposed character designs for the main 6 seem to probably indicate that. But is that what is for sake of argument, is that what we're going to get? And is that going to be a more successful transition? And as you can probably tell, I'm doing this unscripted and on the fly. But anyway, the question is, will that be a successful transition from what we have now to what is being possibly proposed? We don't know. See, one of the things that's being rumored is around 2021, maybe later, maybe earlier, we don't know, is we're going to get another theatrical release of My Little Pony. But this time distributed by Paramount Pictures through Allspark Pictures and Hasbro Studios. Whether or not this leads into Gen 5 or it's a part of Gen 5, we don't really know. What we do know, apparently, is they're going to make sure that we have characters that we recognize, that we know, even though possibly personality-wise, character trait-wise, they might be a little bit different than what we know now. They might be similar, they might be different, they might be a hybrid. Like, there are similarities of who they are in Generation 4, Friendship is Magic, and there might be things that are different. We don't know. We do know that one of the things being talked about is the voice actresses are going to change as well. So basically what that means is we would no longer have, Tara Strong, just checking something there. We would no longer have Tara Strong as Twilight. We would no longer have Ashley Ball as Rainbow Dash and Applejack. We would no longer have Andrea Lindgren as Pinkie Pie and Fluttershy. And if Spike shows up, we won't, which he should, that's being proposed as well. We just don't know what he would look like. He's not going to be voiced by Cassie Westluck anymore. And if we have Celestia and Luna, Celestia is not going to be voiced by Nicole Oliver. So Luna, like Rarity, because both share the same voice actress, is not going to be voiced by Tabitha St. Germain. Starlight won't have, if she shows up, will not have the same voice actress, so on and so forth. But again, that's where the question does still get asked. With some of these slight changes, like voice acting and like the voices and all that, what exactly is it going to bring to the table? What is it going to really present to us? Because if it's aimed at an older audience, if you will, if it's aimed at that older audience of TV-Y7/TV-PG, what kind of stories are we going to get? Are we going to get something along the lines of what people see with Steven Universe and possibly Infinity Train when that comes out? Will we get something along the lines of what we've gotten with Gravity Falls, or something along the lines of what we get with some of the Marvel shows on Disney XD? Are we going to get something along those lines? Are we going to get something along the lines, story-wise, of what we get sometimes with Star Wars, with some of the Star Wars series? We don't know. You see, these are big questions that remain to be answered. And whether or not we get those answers next year at San Diego Comic-Con 2020, whether we get it at New York Comic-Con this year, whether or not we get it at BabsCon, now known as BabsCon and Beyond, next year, whether we get some kind of hint at BronyCon this weekend, we don't know. We don't really know what the answer could be, or when we'd get that information. I mean, a lot of people, pretty much from these leaks that we've had happen in the past year or so, have been saying, oh, well, this is what the proposing they look like, and we get a whole lineup of what the characters could look like. Applejack is probably one of the biggest, changes that people could look at, but people honestly would want Applejack to look like what she does now, maybe with a few changes, but basically be someone we know is Applejack, not someone completely different. So, it still raises a lot of questions. Basically, the main question is, will Generation 5, be a successful successor to Generation 4? I mean, if there's a lot of, because some of the ideas that they had that have been floating around when it comes to Generation 5 from the leaks, if you will, that came out last year or around the past year or so, is with Generation 5, they're going to have the ponies on different planets. Like, you're going to have a planet of Earth ponies, a planet of Pegasi, you're going to have a planet of unicorns, you're going to have a planet of dragons, and they're all going to be connected because of this big tree, which I guess is Generation 5's interpretation of the Tree of Harmony. It's like, okay, fine, but, how do you work that in? How does that work? And the biggest question is, if you have a character like Rarity on a planet of unicorns along with Fluttershy, who's being proposed according to designs to be a unicorn in this interpretation, and then you have Rainbow Dash and Pinkie Pie on a planet of Pegasi, because in this interpretation Pinkie's going to be a Pegasus, and then you have Applejack and Twilight on a planet of Earth ponies, because in this interpretation Twilight's an Earth pony. How are you going to bring them all together? And if you have a planet of dragons and you need Spike in there, how are you going to bring them all together? Are they going to get selected by the Tree of Harmony, one from each planet, to come together and team up and bring peace to all the pony universe, to protect all the planets and it's from any threats from within or without? You see that's the big question. How is that going to work? How is Celestia and Luna going to still be alicorns, and are they going to be part of this higher power that helps guide these chosen 7, if you will, to protect I guess the universe known as Equestria? Who knows? Again, it's a lot of questions still have to be asked. And I'm hoping sooner or later, before this series is over, and the series has got officially here in the U.S., sorry about that, but officially here in the U.S. as well as other parts of the world, it's got to around the mid to end of October, early November, before everything wraps up. And then you have to include possibly a holiday special at the end of October into November, possibly that time range, just like last year, to see what we may get. But hopefully we'll get some kind of answer before the year's out. Maybe again we might get a hint at BronyCon. We're not really sure. We do. The only thing I think we do know that could be a definitive answer is that Boulder Media is going to take over animation. That it's no longer going to be DHX. It's going to be Boulder Media, because we saw what Boulder Media did with Rainbow Road Trip, and according to what a lot of people said, the rumor going around is Boulder Media, animating Rainbow Road Trip was to give us an idea of what the new series will probably look like under their watch. So right now that might be the only definitive clue we have as to what Gen 5 is going to probably look like. But again, all the other questions still have to be asked. What's the story going to be like? How you're going to incorporate maybe the whole, different planets of ponies thing situation. How you're going to probably have the 6 chosen from those planets. Again, a lot has to be answered, and hopefully we'll get an idea maybe as time goes on within, I would say, this is what I look at. We'll hopefully get an answer between BronyCon, which is this upcoming week, and San Diego Comic-Con is next year. Almost a year. I say within a year. Within a year's time frame, maybe less, we will get an answer. We will get some kind of idea of what direction the franchise is heading. Excuse me there. What direction the franchise is heading in the next in the next year or so, especially as we head towards 2021. Because 2021 is when the My Little Pony movie, courtesy of Paramount and Hasbro and all of them, is going to be coming out. So we have until then. We have until from now till next year to probably get an idea of what we're getting. I mean, I will say this: by the time we get to San Diego Comic-Con, there will at least be a teaser trailer or some kind of trailer showing us what the movie is going to look like, and thus giving us an idea of what the series, if the series comes afterwards, is going to look like as well, unless they decide to put the series first. And then the movie kind of is like a bridging gap between seasons, like the 2017 movie was. We'll have to wait and see. But again, the biggest question is, will MLP, My Little Pony, Generation 5, or whatever name it is given, or whatever subname it gets, will it be a worthy successor to Generation 4? Will it be able to continue that legacy that Generation 4 set? And will it continue to help that legacy grow, to higher points than I think we could even imagine? Well, I'll say this: if Generation 5 is meant for an older audience, and perhaps the stories might be a little bit more complicated, then I would say that, and then I'll honestly say that if the show is aimed or being scheduled to be aimed at that TV-Y7/TV-PG audience with more mature stories, complicated stories, and all that, then maybe the older audience could understand than the younger. Then I would say definitely they are off to a good start. They are definitely off to a great start. So we'll have to wait and see. But again, the question is, will MLP G5 be a worthy successor to G4? Let me know what you guys think, though, down below. Comment if you like. Thank you all for watching. But what are your thoughts? Do you think G5 will be a worthy successor? Do you think some of the rumors and stuff about it could help it out? Or do you think there might be more to it than we think? Or do you think it might be something completely different? Let me know down below. Comment if you like. I'd like to hear what your guys' thoughts are. And I'll talk to you later.